Okay, so today we are studying light. So we have to understand from electromagnetic waves that light is really an electromagnetic wave. Now it means that it is a transverse wave. It means it can travel in a vacuum, that is where there are no particles. Then light travels at a speed of 3.0 times 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So these characteristics that I've mentioned are the characteristics of electromagnetic waves, and the light is one of them. So now, when we're talking about light, we have sources that produce light, and those sources that will produce light are called luminous sources. They produce light on their own. And a good example of that is a sun. Okay? So sun produces light on their own. Then those that are artificial one are non-luminous sources. And so these rely on other objects for them to produce light. For example, a bulb, a torch, a lamp. So these are non-luminous sources. So this is what you should know about light. Now, in light, there are few concepts that you should know. For example, when we talk about a ray, when you see something like this in light, we mean a ray. So a ray has an arrow. Okay? So it is a path carried by light. And so it is represented by an arrow. Now, when you group rays, you group them, meaning two or more rays, you form a beam. You get to form a beam. Now, beams are of different types. For example, we have a beam that goes like this. So you see these rays of light are meeting at one point. So it's called a convergent beam, okay, of light, because they are meeting. These are not meeting, but they are parallel. So this is the reason why it's called a parallel beam. Then these, when you look at these, light are going away from each other. So it's divergent beam of light. So this point tells us that the rays of light are not meeting at the same point. So that's a concept you should know. Propagation of light. What does that mean? Propagation of light. It means that light travels in a straight line. That's what this concept means. So now, what evidence do we have that light travels in a straight line? For example, shadows. Okay. So shadows are formed when some rays of light continue to travel in a straight line, while others are stopped by an object. So there are different types of shadows that are formed. Let's take, for example, when light is a small source, then we have a ball here. You want to see what type of a shadow that is going to be formed. So when the source of light is small, the shadow that is formed on the screen is dark. Remember, this is a ball, light, and then on the screen. So the shadow formed here, it's going to be dark, and it will appear just as one. That is when the source of light is small. But when the source of light is big, like this one, you have two shadows that are going to be formed. A darker one will be on the middle, but the other one here, it's a one that will be a little bit brighter. So this dark shadow is called the umbra. The umbra. Then, so it could be umbra or umbra. So this faint one is called penumbra. Penumbra. So we have umbra, penumbra. So here you form two shadows, the umbra inside and the penumbra. So these shadows tells us that light travels in a straight line. Another evidence that light travels in a straight line is eclipse of the sun. So we know eclipse from the sun, or that it happens when the moon comes between the sun and the earth. Then there's also eclipse of the moon. Happens when the moon moves into the earth shadows. So shadows, eclipse of the sun, eclipse of the moon are evidence that light travels in a straight line. Thank you for watching.